What's up, everybody? In this video I'm going to be breaking down a 5-0 level game between myself, my partner Jane, and somebody named Stacy who has a 5-2 duper, and somebody named Robert who has a 4-9 duper. So let's get into the video. Jane and I are on the far side and Stacy and Robert are on the close side of this video. So here we go. Jane's going to serve first. So right off the bat we get into a dink rally. And you'll notice that Jane is hitting very aggressive topspin dinks at Stacy. And Stacy is handling them well. A lot of people don't handle Jane's dinks well, but Stacy recognizes that they're offensive and have a lot of topspin, and so she doesn't try to do too much with them. She just kind of half volleys them back and gives sort of a defensive dead dink. But she's very consistent with it and doesn't miss. And that's more important in dinking than being super offensive. But Jane likes to be offensive, so she's staying offensive here. It's a long point. There's the speed up. And I missed the put away there. Well, not necessarily a put away, but just about the height of the net. Shouldn't miss that, but I did. Okay, here's a good point to learn stuff from. So, as you can see here, Jane lets this ball bounce so that she can be as offensive as possible. She could have reached in and tried to poke it out of the air. She wouldn't have been able to be as offensive as she is here. So she lets it bounce, takes a step back, and then hits an offensive shot. Now, you'll notice here that Robert is still moving. He should be split stepping, and Jane hitting it here should be aiming at the person who's farthest back. That's one thing that you want to do, is hit it to the person who has to make the hardest drop. In this case, Stacy is already up. She has an easier drop, but she's not really expecting this shot here. So we earn the pop-up anyway. And you see here, I go to put it away. Now, right here, you'll notice Robert gets his paddle face down. So he sees that they're on the offensive. The ball goes up. This is sometimes called the seesaw effect in pickleball. If the ball goes up and someone's going to be smashing it, they're going to be hitting it down at your feet. So if you just put your paddle down there, half the battle's already won. And that's what Robert does here, and he makes a great save. And then they're back in the point. Okay, one more quick thing to learn from this point. This is great. So Robert here, you see he's stepped over the line, and he's covering a lot of court here. And that's because the most offensive shot that Stacy and Robert have is Robert's forehand. That's why they stack with him on the left, keeping that forehand in the middle. Now, if the ball comes in the middle, they have agreed that they want him to take that ball, because you're also can be a little bit trickier with your forehand than you can with your backhand. Now, Jane dinks it right to this inside foot of Stacy and causes some confusion. They don't know who's supposed to be taking it, and it ends up going in the net. So this inside foot of the right side player is a great spot to target your dinks. Oh yeah, another thing to learn here. So I speed this ball up. It's not a bad speed up. Stacy has a really good reset here. Sometimes if you're in the mode of, oh, I just sped up the ball, you're in attack mode. If the other team resets a good ball, you need to be able to get your mind to go out of attack mode. As you see here, I get a little reachy, and that ball wasn't very high, and I put it in the net. I need to recognize that she's done a good job, neutralized my attack, and then the point goes back to neutral. Okay, that was a little bit high third there. You'll notice most of our drops are going to Robert. We thought he was a little bit less consistent with his drops on this night in his drives than Stacy was, so you'll see most of our returns go to Robert. That was a good looking drive. If you're going to drive the ball, you want to miss it into the net like Jane did there. She just missed it by an inch or two. It hit the tape. The most important part of a drive, oh, good get, and not quite on the drop. The most important part of a drive is to get the ball low and dipping over the net. So if you're missing long, you're aiming for the wrong thing. You want to be aiming for right over the net, and if you do miss, it should be right at the top of the net, which is the way Jane missed her last drive there. Okay, so Robert, this was a good shot here. So Robert's hitting this shot, and I think he's going middle. But at the last second, he changes his paddle. You can see my paddle face move out, and he is not, in fact, going middle. He's going at my body, and I'm not even close. If you can make the other person think you're hitting one way and hit it the other way, or even just disguise where you're hitting it until the last second, it gives you a huge advantage, especially when you get to higher levels and everyone has really fast hands. There we go. If you can capitalize on a high third, do it. Okay, got a gift. That was a drop. And we got another gift. So that was a great drive. So she hit an aggressive drop at him and he missed it, and then she hit an aggressive drive and he missed it again. He doesn't usually miss those, so we'll take it. That was a great dink by Jane. Okay, so Jane's coming up here. She sees that this dink is kind of sits up a little bit, and she has an opportunity to hit it very aggressively. So this could open up an ATP, but Stacy kind of tries to hit it out of the air and realizes she can't, so she's a little bit late there. And actually, I don't think the ATP is there, so this is just a really good dink. Stacy's off balance and reaching. She knows that if she tries to dink it back, it's probably going to be high and put away. So she goes for a defensive lob here, which is a good idea. It just doesn't quite get high enough, and we're able to put it away. But that was all set up by that awesome dink by Jane. Okay, a couple more errors. Okay, we're moving our dinks around nicely. There we go. That aggressive dink from Jane finally earned a mistake from Stacy. Need to bend my legs more. It's a little bit lazy of me. See, Stacy's frustrated. She's just they've missed a couple in a row. They don't usually do that. Here we go. Oof, I just wasn't quite ready there. If you are ready, if you think every dink might be an attack, you're always going to be ready. I did not think that one was going to be an attack, and so I wasn't ready. Need to get in that mindset of they could attack any dink. Good save by Jane, right at that right hip. Okay. Man, gotta make those. Ooh, Robert hit some aggressive shots there. Came out on top. Oof, great drop. And they're still in it. And Robert comes all the way back. Let me go back one here. Okay, so Jane hits a drop shot. It goes off the net. Doesn't seem like Robert's going to get there. He hustles and puts a lot of touch on that ball, so he doesn't pop it up. Now, ideally, Jane would have gone right here. So Stacy slides middle, which is good. She realizes her partner's off the court. If your partner's out of position, you need to slide middle to cover more of their court. So she does the right thing here. It's really hard to cover the whole court as one person. So ideally, Jane would have tried to put it in this corner, but she kind of goes back at Stacy a couple times, and then it gives Robert time to come back. And then that one's a little high, and they put it away. That's a great point by Robert. So we made them earn that point, Robert just made a heck of a play. Left-handed get, nice. Oh, ball on. Bummer. So we're redoing that point. So Jane keeps going back to Stacy's forehand because she's ahead in those dink battles. She's hitting the more aggressive shot. Ooh, that was a good dink by Robert. Couldn't quite carve it back. She knows she has the more aggressive shot, and Stacy's a little bit on the defensive. So she keeps going back to that spot. Typically, you want to move your dinks around a little bit more. There we go. Got that ball down. Typically, you want to move your dinks around a little bit more, not be as predictable. But Jane chose to stay in that pattern for a lot of this game, that cross-court pattern. This return will take it. That was a good spot by Stacy. I was maybe being a little lazy, but she painted the line there, and I was not ready. Oof, okay, this is a great point. So this ball is actually called out here that Jane hits, but this is a good opportunity for learning to defend an ATP. So see here, that ball is in fact out. So Stacy called that out. We just didn't hear, so we played on. So I recognize that this ball is going to be an ATP, and what you want to do is you want to drop diagonally. As this ball is moving farther and farther wide, the first place that's going to open up is this back corner. It's going to gradually move in as it gets wider. So you don't want to move along this line because the ball is probably going to be hit more back in this area. And if you're on this line, it's hard to tell if the angle's going to be there or if it's going to go in. So drop back diagonally and then get your paddle down. So this is a great shot because they don't have to go over the net if they're going around the post. So the ball is going to be low. And if it's high, it's probably going out. So that's a great drop. And then I got my paddle down, got the paddle on it. I did pop it up, so we were going to lose anyway. But you can see we were kind of, she just half hit that because we realized that she'd called it out by that point. Good poke by Robert there. Jane tried to be a little bit too offensive with her with her fourth shot there. You want to be as offensive as possible, but if there's a good drop, you need to concede the kitchen and don't try to be too aggressive with it. Because if the ball is low, like it is on a good drop, if you try to be offensive, you're just going to be hitting the ball up. And if you try to hit it hard and up, you're going to open it up for them to attack it. Oh, great. There's a nice shake and bake play. So Jane's got a good drive here. I know she has a good drive. So I'm going to move up. Now, if you're going to run a shake and bake, you want her to hit the ball either in the middle or on the opposite side that you are. If she goes cross court, I'm going to be crashing middle and I'm opening up this line. So by keeping the ball either straight ahead or at least just anywhere but not cross court, middle or straight ahead, that means I can cheat middle and try, and if the drive earns a pop-up, which it does in this case, it can be put away. That ball, there was some question about whether it went in. Robert said it did hit in. So thanks for the call. Oh, same play again here. So Jane is coming up. Now, she takes this dink out of the air, which takes away time. So Stacy has slid middle, which is good because Robert is returning. So she wants to slide middle to kind of cover that middle ball. Because you always want the person who is closest to the kitchen to hit the ball. So she's going to take that middle ball. But what Jane does here is she's able to take this next ball out of the air, and Stacy is then out of position, and she doesn't have time to get back, and that's a great shot. by Jane. And same thing as last time. Stacy tried to throw up a defensive lob, but didn't quite get it high enough. I'm hard to get a lob over. Ooh, this is a good dink battle. Moving around nicely. Oh, that was a great play by Robert. So I attacked this ball, and it's a pretty good attack. So I hit Robert right there, right at his right hip. If you're going to attack somebody, right hip and right shoulder are good places to do that. Now, so I get him right at the right hip. It jams him up, but he handles it like a boss. And it's kind of hard to see because he's kind of blocking it, but he puts the ball back and he keeps it low, which is the most important thing, but it comes right back to my hip, and I'm not able to handle it like he is. So, strategy-wise, I think I did the right thing. He just outplayed me with a great shot that I could not match. That was too reachy by me. I shouldn't have stuck my paddle in there. Just because you can reach it doesn't mean you should. I was saying earlier, if you're closer up to the net, it's better for you to take the ball within reason. But that one, I got a little too much there. That one soared out. Good dig by Jane. Ooh, and she goes offensive. This is great. So that one's high, so Jane digs it, she backs up. And then this next one bounces high, and she decides to crack it, which is awesome. And that allows us to get back in the point here. And then that one was just a little high, and I wasn't ready for the attack. So Stacy kind of did what I did earlier. Started moving, and then kind of realized halfway in that she was being overly aggressive. But had already committed, and then couldn't recover. Good attack by Stacy. It wasn't a very high attack. Let's see. Yeah. So it's, that's kind of a fit, like it's in the yellow zone, It could be attacked, and I was not ready. So that was good. She got me sleeping. It's a battle to get up to the kitchen. We're making them earn it. They finally do. That's okay. As long as you're making them work for it. Either make them hit a really good drop or make them battle their way up there. Oh, and on game point. So Jane was just a little bit out of position. Her paddle was low and the ball came high. She was a little bit late to it. She should have tried to reset it here. But instead she wanted to counter it, but she was just out of position. And so in order to try to hit that ball hard, she has to swing up on it, and it ends up soaring, and they win the game. But great battle, great game, Stacy and Robert. If you made it this far, seriously, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. If you don't mind leaving a like and a comment down below, letting me know what you learned, that really helps out the video a lot. Go ahead and subscribe while you're at it, and I'll see you in the next one.